Hi, this is my wrap-up for the Sci-Fi Readathon. The first book I read was Dune by Frank Herbert, and as I thought, this was my favorite one of the 4 novels. You know when you read something and you have the feeling that you would have been friends with the person who wrote it. This was what I felt when I was reading Dune. I don't know why we connected. It's so unlike anything I've ever read, and it would be hard for me to explain why it touched me. The least I can do is to recommend it to the right people, I guess. Paul, the protagonist, is the son of Lady Jessica and Duke Leto Atreides. Their family moves to the planet Arrakis, previously controlled by another great house. This planet is the only place with spice melange, which is used for space travel, tripping, and other things. Lady Jessica is part of the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood, which is trying to produce a Kwisatz Haderach, a male Bene Gesserit who could tap into both the male and the female ancestral memories. Lady Jessica has so much control over her body that she can decide even the sex of her fetus. She also has other powers such as the voice, which she can use to control others. It's interesting that she could have used it to control Duke Leto to make him marry her, but she didn't. The Fremen are a group of people who live in Arrakis. They have to fight for their survival, and water preservation is a very important aspect of their culture. Another aspect is drug addiction, spice addiction, and their blind belief in an old prophecy. I enjoyed the book, but not because of the characters. For me, they were more like mythological characters rather than real people. Apparently, there's more development in the rest of the series, so we'll see. The plot is it's less confusing than I expected. Princess Irulan spoils some parts of it in her epigraphs, and this bothers some people. If I tried to summarize it in a few sentences, I don't think that you would be impressed. But some scenes were very good, like the dinner scene, the Gom Jabbar test. The drug trips were very fun to read, especially the one where time becomes space. The dialogue was okay at first, but after a while it became the only thing that actually bothered me. The subtlety that was present in other parts was suddenly lost when it came to the dialogue, and I cannot give you any examples because I don't want to ruin it for you. The romance part is kind of rushed, but the importance of rituals in this world kind of justifies it. I mean, a connection made during a ritual doesn't need to be explained, does it? The book is infused with mysticism and it clearly draws from many religious traditions. The author doesn't describe many things, so you'll have to use your imagination a lot. And this could be a good or a bad thing depending on who you ask. I enjoyed Dune and I will read the rest of the series, but I don't know if it's the right choice for you. There's something special about it. I'm not the target audience, and it still managed to enchant me despite its flaws. The next book was The Day of the Triffids by John Wyndham. The Triffids are big, carnivorous plants. They can move and they can communicate with each other. They can hear and sense movement around them, and they have poisonous stingers. The main character, Bill Mason, is a biologist, and he wakes up in a hospital after being attacked by one of the Triffids. Most people around him went blind after watching a meteor shower, and you could say that the world has changed in a blink of an eye. If we look back in history at similar events, we can see that morals go out the window when things go wrong, that this is when people reveal their true colors. Thank God Bill doesn't go blind. He meets a writer, Gisela Playton, as well as different groups of people with different rules and survival strategies. The book felt a little bit rushed, but I'm not complaining. The plot was entertaining, but it left me cold, to be honest. I wanted a more in-depth exploration of the themes discussed in the novel. Apparently, I'm not a fan of dystopian fiction. I tried, guys. I tried 1984, Brave New World, Fahrenheit 451, A Clockwork Orange, The Time Machine, but the only one I actually enjoyed was Animal Farm. I'm not saying that I won't give it another chance sometime in the future. I still have We, Blindness, War with the Newts, and Never Let Me Go on my reading list. The next book I read was The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. Genly I, or Genly I, is sent on a diplomatic mission to Gethin. The goal is to convince the people of this planet to join a union, a sort of United Nations. This proves to be more difficult than expected because the inhabitants of this planet are very different. They are androgynous, and this affects their whole culture. The protagonist expresses stereotypical male attitudes. He wants everyone to be a he, even when he notices feminine features in them. In an interview, the author said, "When people ask me, why do you write about men? I say because I like to write about aliens. I himself can't talk about the women of his planet because they are so alien to him. And if Ursula K. Le Guin is captivated by the unknown, he is afraid of it." I like the tale about the 19th day. It's about questions and answers, and the foretellers reminded me of Zen monks and their koans. They value not knowing just as much as knowing something, and they stress the importance of asking the right questions. The myth chapters were my favorite ones. The book is more about communication and sociology than it is about genders. I like the idea that progress is less important than presence, but the writing style didn't do anything for me. I liked the idea more than I liked the execution. There's a chance that I failed to grasp the main message of this novel, but considering the many ideas that went into it and its historical context, it didn't strike me as profound, though it's complex because it's told from multiple perspectives. If you've read it and you want to share your experience with it, feel free to do so in the comments. I found such a nice reader's guide on YouTube made by Thomas Lewandowski, and I'll put the link in the description, I guess. He actually loves this novel, and there are no spoilers there, so don't worry. So maybe he will inspire you to read it. Unfortunately, I found it right after I finished the book. The last book I read was Hyperion by Dan Simmons. 7 pilgrims set out for Hyperion on a starship. These people have different backgrounds, but for some reason they have been chosen for this mission. There are 6 chapters, except the prologue and epilogue, and each of them presents the story of one of the travelers. There are many references in this novel, but you don't have to get them to enjoy it. What you do need is patience, and sometimes I felt like the author was testing mine. He could repeat something over and over, or he could give me another proof that something was happening. The best thing is that every tale has its own unique writing style, so there's a chance that you will enjoy at least one of them. The first chapter is The Priest's Tale, and it's one of my favorite ones. Most of it is an anthropological study of a tribe, written by Duray, the friend and mentor of the narrator. These people seem to be genderless, they don't have children, they don't understand the concept of time, and Duray has a hard time understanding them. They go somewhere and he's not allowed to go with them. The story was very intriguing and the ending was simply perfect. The Poet's Tale is another fan favorite. It's about the life of a writer and it deals with the publishing industry and mental health issues, so it's very well written. The Scholar's Tale is another good one, though it's a little bit repetitive. The narrator has this horrible dream where he is told to do with his daughter what Abraham did with his son. There's so much pain in this chapter, even more than chapter 1. The rest of the tales weren't as good, though the consul had a very funny moment with dolphins. Fun fact. The Soldier's Tale was more action-driven, so as you might have guessed, it wasn't really for me. I have to warn you that you won't like this novel if you're offended by swearing or graphic violence or detailed sex scenes. They didn't bother me, but they were just unexpected. Some chapters were mysterious and gloomy, others were fun adventures with a twist. So if you like variety, you might like Hyperion. In my case, I think that it would have been better if I read it slower, like a chapter a week or a month, because there was just too much of it, too many new concepts, and I couldn't digest them in one go. I'd like to thank you for the recommendations you gave me in the comments. Hopefully I can get to them one day. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Bye!